Welcome back. It is still day one of the Bold Leadership Summit. It is part two. We've had 3 speakers already today and breakouts for them, and we've had a prize, and we had a conversation, or 2 or 3 or 4. It's been a wonderful day so far, and we're here to have the second half of our day. We've got 2 more speakers today. Very excited to hear both of these women because they bring so much to think about, to go into action with. Very fun. Very inspiring. And before we do that, there's a couple of things I want to do. If we can get people to come on camera, I would love to take a photo. I didn't do that this morning. I always like to try to remember, and I remembered, but I remembered now. So, and I know everyone's eating snacks, so I'll wait for you to like take your bite and chew and swallow, because I did the same thing for mine. So we're going to do that in a minute. So be prepared. I also want to remind you about the Summit resource page, where you can find the downloads from our speakers. You can find our connect form there, where you can connect with the speakers, with me, with the community, find out more about what's going on with us in the Gather community, different things we have coming up. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of that sheet, you'll find 3 upcoming events. One is my workshop that's next week. That is Stop Selling, Start Building Community. It's my new favorite topic. I think not because I don't believe in selling, Katerina, I'm not trying to say that, but what I'm saying is that if you build community, your people are already around you, and it makes sales so much easier. And the other thing that is on that sheet, I'm not looking at the page, I'm remembering, is our workshop, what we call a hosted workshop, which is where the Gather community hosts one of our community creators. And this time it's going to be the fabulous Lisa Condon, who many of us had the chance to hear speak this morning, who's amazing. So you definitely want to come to that. And the third thing that's on that page is our upcoming April monthly Business Connect. This is like speed networking. We spend 1 hour, we do 3 or 4 rounds of breakout rooms. And like we're about to do after we take this picture, we have a question that everyone answers in addition to introducing themselves. So you get to know people a little bit more than just their token elevator pitch. So that is what's on the speaker page, speaker resource page for you to engage with today. Let's take a picture really quick, if that is okay. Mia, you're so funny. Like, you would scare everyone. Okay, well, you have a lovely picture for your icon or whatever you call it. So we know that's you. It's all good. All right, everyone. If you are ready, we're going to do a picture. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And let us get started with this first breakout room. Our second question of the day. This morning, we talked about what is leadership for an entrepreneur from your perspective. But here's a different question for you. When did you first decide that you were a leader? And if it's today, I mean, okay, like better late than never. But my guess is it wasn't today. Maybe it was a while ago. Maybe it was when you were young. And, our strength, our confidence in that can come and go a little bit. That's okay. But you decided that you were a leader a long time ago. When did that happen? Tell us this little story. You only have a couple of minutes though, right? 8-minute breakout, few people in the room. Let's get Erica in here and we'll get her in a breakout too. You guys can tell her what the question is, but we're going to go ahead and get you all to your breakout room so that we can continue on with our day. Paul, are we ready? Let's go. Take it away. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I would love to hear if anyone has a good little story, just like two people. When did you decide that you were a leader? Like, what did that spark in you? Did you have a story to share about that? Beverly, Brooke, sorry. Let's hear from
Yes,
you. Either
Brooke
one.
is my nickname. I'm the babbling one. So I get to babble a little bit right now.
Very short.
Probably in 2010, when my husband was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and I found a product that actually helped restore him for 14 years, I went nuts and I went out and told everybody about it.
Yeah, great. Loud and proud, as we would say.
Yes.
I love that. That's beautiful. Alexa, let's hear from you.
One of the things that I found was really interesting, listening to my group stories was that all of us shared experiences that came from a place of like rising above adversity,
Mhm.
being met with an incredible challenge, and then making a very conscious and intentional choice to not let that, challenge define who we are or our path.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, if other people in the room kind of realize their leadership story from, a place of deep challenge, but that was just an observation.
Yeah, I love that. And I don't think that's going to be an uncommon common thread, right? Thank you for that. Okay, Tanya, super quick. And if anyone else has one that they'd like to share, please put it in the chat. Tanya, go ahead.
I discovered that in actually going through this process, I remember when it started and it played a part in how the people that raised me, because I was raised by the silent generation,
Mhm.
that you were just silent. You didn't lead anything. You didn't talk about anything. You just wanted to be in charge. You just had to be up front. Were seeking the spotlight.
Mhm.
And so I discovered it a long time ago. Now embracing it took a lot longer.
Yeah, that's true, right? When we realize something is one thing, when we show it to other people, maybe is another thing. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's great. If anyone else has any other anecdotes or stories about when you decided that you became a leader, I'd love to see them in the chat. But in the meantime, we're going to get started with our second to last speaker of the day, our next speaker of the day, who is the fabulous Kat Mitchell. Kat really brought down the house in January at our Bold New Year Summit with her talk, which started the wheels rolling on the don't be the be the driver, not the passenger in your bus, right? So today she's going to be talking about From Doubt to Decisive, a leader's guide to trusting the woman behind the wheel. Hint, hint, that's you. You're the driver of the bus. Right? Okay, Kat, I'm super excited. I can't wait. And you're speaking, I've gotten a chance to hear you with your workshops and at Elle's event and at our own events, and I can't wait to hear how it all comes out today. Thank you for being here, and please, my friend, take it away.
Thank you. And it is true that I have been speaking more, and yet there are times when I allow for my mindset to go off and be critiqued by the critic. And so that's what I get to talk about because I love talking about two topics, mindset and energy, which work really well together and are super powerful together. So when I say from doubt to decisive, it's really, coming down to where our mindset gets challenged. So one of the things, or one of the little subtitles to this that I had mentioned was when we uncover that unconscious programming. And some of the things that I noticed about myself, and you may recognize this also, is really having to, some of the things I was raised with was having to prove my worth. It's like I wasn't raised to believe I was worthy. I was raised to believe I had to prove it. I had to do these certain things. I had to accomplish all of this stuff to go, okay, now maybe I'm worthy. Or showing vulnerability is weakness is another one that I was raised with. And if I slow down, everything falls apart. Anybody else recognize any of that? Or is it just me? Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to put it on so I can actually see everybody. I can't see everybody. Yes. Yes, Al. You recognize it? I saw your hand. Yes. So it's really exploring how our mindset really, what that actually means. So when I say that, whether you are the driver of the bus or the passenger of the bus, it may be that ebb and flow. It's really knowing that sometimes we get on autopilot. Our unconscious mind runs a lot of what we do in the day. It's like we're just going. It's just, we run on autopilot. We may respond or we may react. And where it becomes valuable is when we start noticing, when we really tap into that awareness of, why did I say that? Why did I respond like that? And really being conscious of your the autopilot activities and really noticing if you are really leading your life, since this is the Bold Leadership Summit, leading your life, or if you are letting maybe your inner critic lead for you. Or those, and when I say inner critic and old messages, it can be one and the same, or you can look at it a little different. We all have different perspectives, different ways of thinking it. It could be, your Aunt Betsy from when you were 3, suddenly that voice pops into your head. It's like, why are you going in that direction when you really should be going in this direction? You're like, wait, no, I don't want to go that way. So it's really being conscious of that and then, hitting that pause button and really allowing yourself to decide and not giving into the doubt. So your mindset is not just this, it's not just the positive thinking exercises. It's really the the awareness of how our mind thinks. And some ways to recognize this, are we reacting instead of responding? Something that I see often is people who shut down when there's conflict. Um, when there's a conflictive conversation, it's like, ooh, this sounds a little rough. I think I'm going to go take a walk. I'll come back to you later. Um, or, really that fear. And a lot of this is because we think it's because of us and not realizing that, how do we hold those conversations and come together working on whatever the problem is to find a solution. So a lot of conflict comes from that fear of us being the problem. And it's going outside of that. It's people pleasing and approval seeking and realizing our worth and our value and knowing that we don't need to seek that approval if we are giving ourselves permission and that approval and we know our value and we know our worth. Proving and overachieving can be a big challenge, measuring our worth by our output, which I mentioned, or working ourselves into exhaustion, and that constant go, 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 go of I can't accomplish it unless I just keep on going. And I think Teresa mentioned this in her, in something that she said also. Shrinking and playing small because this is the Bold Leadership Summit. We want to be bold. We want to stay in our power. We want to stay true to ourselves. We want to, really, and our mindset can have an impact on all of that. So it's really checking in with our own selves. And when we have that intentional mindset, we tend to take the wheel back. We take the driver's seat of our lives and we're not running on autopilot. So, question, if your mindset were a radio station, what would it be broadcasting now? And would you want that to be broadcasting to the world? Would it be beneficial for the world to hear? So, intention is the second one. So I'm using the acronym of mindset. So mindset, really focusing on what our thoughts are and becoming aware and noticing. Intention, deciding where our life is going, not allowing the input of others to decide for us the direction that we want to take our lives and our businesses. And it's really knowing that we are in control. Our intention is that GPS and that guide of where we want to go. And it doesn't mean we can't change direction, but it means we get to choose that direction. So when you woke up this morning, did you decide and set that intention for how you wanted your day to go? Or did you jump out of bed and hope for the best? And I tell everyone, some days I set my intention. Some days my dogs have a different way of getting me out of bed. So I don't think about intention. So then I sit down with my coffee after I put them out and go, okay, now what do I want to focus on today? How do I want my day to be? How do I want to show up in my day? And how do I want to lead this day forward? And are you leading yourself towards excitement and joy and things that you are passionately wanting to achieve? Narrative, the story driving your choices. The most powerful driver of your bus may not be you. Maybe it's a story that you're telling yourself, and you may not realize it. It could be a narrative about who you are. And some days we have those narratives that are a little louder than they may be on other days. I recently had an event where it didn't quite go as I wanted. And all of a sudden that inner critic goes, and telling me that maybe that isn't the right path for you. Or maybe I just need to make some upgrades. I have Katerina's voice in my head often that says, well, you haven't committed 10,000 hours yet, so you still have a long ways to go until mastery. So it's reminding myself constantly that I have a lot of hours to put into the work that I do to create that mastery. So, what is the story you tell yourself about why you can't have what you really want? And if your closest friend heard the way you speak to yourself internally, what would they say about you? And would you actually speak about them that same way? Yes. So that was narrative, direction. You get to choose your destination. And normally when I think of direction, all of a sudden I'm thinking time. I usually set my time and I did not. So I'm going to depend on Tracy. So that is part of my direction. Um, so most people wait for permission to change their direction or for them to take the direction that they want to take. I work with, because I have a employee assistance program contract where I coach for certain organizations. And I often speak with people that are in that corporate space, and they're like, well, I would love to start my business, but I don't understand, or I don't want to take that chance. I don't know if it's the right move. I don't know. It's all these questionable um, challenges within their mind and a lot of fear. And so it's really dissecting the fear and helping them see the possibility in, helping them decide the direction that they want to go. And it may be that, for some, they stay in their career. For others, they actually don't realize that they could start a business and have a career at the same time, depending on what works best for them. There's I meet with a lot of black and white thinking, and it's fine. Let's find the gray area path that might blossom into something new later. So it's really allowing yourself to know your direction and know that it can shift when you feel that the shift is important, that the shift is valuable, and you have that ability. And this question hit me, and so I'm curious if it'll hit you. If someone looked at how you spent your time and energy this past month, what destination would they conclude you were heading toward? I had to journal on this one because I'm like, let me think about that. It's like, because I've been so focused on that productivity versus busy work. And it's really, looking at each hour of every day and determining if each hour of every day is really on that path that I'm deciding to take for my life and business. Because I think of life and business as being like a partnership for me. It's, they work together, and it's really looking at, making sure that I'm laying the stones and the pebbles just right on my path, and not building 5 paths all at once, because then my bus is going to be sitting there, at a crossroads for a very long time while I decide which direction to go. Sovereignty. So we've covered M for mindset, intention, narratives that can challenge us on our direction, and our direction, and really choosing our direction and knowing that we are in charge. Sovereignty is taking back the driver's seat. It's the moment you stop outsourcing your life to other people's expectations, needs, and opinions. And for women, and I say this because I was one that spent years in caregiving, it's, when we've spent years in caregiving, people pleasing, shrinking to keep the peace, it is most valuably important that we take back the driver's seat of our bus. Because in many cases, we've landed in the passenger seat doing life and not actually being who we need to be in our own lives. So I really had to, this is the reason why mindset has become so powerful for me, is because I realized through everything that I've experienced that I was giving up the driver's seat. It's like, all right, just take the bus. It's like, take the bus, I'll figure it out. Take the bus, I'll figure it out. And I really had to sit down and start taking the driver's seat back. So, and I know that if I've done that, I am not the only one. So, my goal is to help all women take back that driver's seat of their own lives. So, where in your life have you been the passenger and going along someone else's route based on their opinions, their expectations, and their needs? And you can put this in the chat. I would love for comments in the chat, because I do love interaction. Yes, there you go. Put on your driver's hat. I love that. Energy. the fuel in your tank. You cannot drive a car and you cannot drive far on empty. Is it okay to sometimes be a passenger? Awesome. Is it okay to sometimes be a passenger? If, I mean, it is okay. We've all done it. And it's it's being okay with it and then deciding if you want to change and actually take over the driver's seat. And it's really looking at it, um, I'm using when I'm speaking of life in general, but we have different areas of life. It may be in, for some, it's really if they're focused on health and business, they may be in the driver's seat of their health and their business. And, in some cases, they may be in the passenger seat in relationships. And, maybe it's really evaluating and figuring out what needs to shift to be in the driver's seat. And, you know, it's coming to that awareness, the conscious awareness, and if it's the mindset that's holding you back from being in the driver's seat, or if it's intentional and to be in the passenger seat. Because bottom line, we get to choose. It's really deciding if we want to be in the driver's seat. Maybe there's some area in your life where it's like, yeah, that just seems too exhausting. I want to focus on these things and be in the driver's seat. And then for now, pause on that. Energy. Energy is not just physical, it's our emotional energy. It's our mental, our vibrational, our spiritual energy. All of that is our energy that is helping to drive our life, to drive our business, to drive every area of our life, our relationships. And when we don't give ourselves that downtime, that mental clarity, and hit that pause button, sometimes we can get mentally overwhelmed, we can get emotionally exhausted, we can get to a point where physically we just can't do it anymore. So it's really paying attention to every ounce of who we are and really focusing and taking care of every ounce of who we are to make sure that we're continuously keeping our fuel tanks full, or at least not letting them go to empty. I realize that there are times when, there's that fluctuation of energy, but it's being conscious of it because you can't increase the energy when you drain it too far down. And then your bus is stopped on the side of the road, in your imagination. And suddenly you're like, yeah, there's no way to fuel it. There's nobody around. There's maybe cactus, sitting on the side of the road. And you're like, yeah, I think I'm just going to stop here and figure out what's next. And you don't want to get to that point. It's like sometimes I'm very visual. And I have those pictures. It's like, yeah, I don't really want to, you know. Um, but those visual images, yeah, no charging station. Hmm. I have an older car. I can't imagine a charging station anyway. So that's not even an aspect of my vehicle. So I have to upgrade my bus. When I upgrade my bus, I'll think about the charging station. So, who or what in your life is consistently draining your energy? And what have you been telling yourself about why you can't change that? Because so often we, like I have a client right now who has a best friend that drains her energy. And for her, um, it feels too traumatic to allow for that relationship to dissolve. Um, not ready yet. And for others, there's a point in time where there are some relationships that can just really drain our energy, some people, some activities that can drain our energy. Um, you know, Business activities that can drain us until we actually get somebody that can actually do it and is much better at it. We know just based on the comments earlier that Tracy's going to handle everything Zoom for now, because she's the expert. So it's really looking at and noting what drains us, because when we allow for our energy to drain, then we don't have the energy to put towards what we really desire, what we really are passionately wanting to achieve, and really being the best versions of ourselves in our lives and in our business. Lastly, trust. Self-trust is so valuable, and so self-trust is so challenging for so many. And it could be, this is another one where uh, self-trust may be strong in some areas, and in others, it's something that we still need to work on. It's really looking at um, where we are challenged by making a choice or a decision. Is it due to our own inner trust that prevents us from deciding? And are we waiting for somebody else to make that decision for us? When we wait for somebody else to make that decision for us, often we may follow what they say and then second guess whether it's the right choice for us. We said yes because we didn't trust ourselves to make the decision. And then we start questioning whether we are going down the right path. Or, are we doing it now? Are we doing it to please them because we think it's right for us? And so it's really coming back to the awareness of that, and coming back to how do we build the trust. I still got 5 minutes, 4 minutes. How do we build our inner trust so we can really strengthen that trust and make our own choices and decisions? And I say choices and decisions because I know people say different things. I work with the unconscious mind so much that some people say, no, I'm all about choice. Yeah. No, so um, I weave in different words based on who I'm talking with. But it's really coming down to being taking charge of our own lives and really taking action and moving ourselves forward so we can build the confidence and build the trust from within. And knowing that every time we may go off the road a little bit, we know that we can come back on the road. And it helps build our inner strength. It helps build our inner trust. It helps build our, um, you know, it helps really create that 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 strength within us, um, that capacity within us to keep going and keep showing up for ourselves. Um, and that's when we get out of the doubt and we strengthen the decision making. And we know that even if every decision isn't perfect, we know that we just keep going and getting stronger and getting better and being the best of who we can be. And with that, uh, that is the end. So you get a few minutes back.
Well, maybe one. That was
Maybe one.
fantastic, Kat.
Kat, I had a
Yeah.
question. I had a question,
Go ahead,
Kat.
Maureen.
Yes.
Yeah, you asked a question, and I want to make sure I got what have I been telling myself about why I can't change that? What was that question? It was after you talked about what's draining your like what is draining you, and then you had another question about that. Do you remember what it was?
What have you been? Oh, that's energy. What have you been? Say what you had again. Say what you had.
What have I been telling myself about why I can't change
Oh,
that?
yeah. Who or what in your life is consistently draining your energy?
That was the first question, and then what was the question after that?
And what have you been telling yourself about why you can't change that?
Got it. Wonderful. That was a huge help for me. I am excited to explore further. Thank
Awesome.
you.
You're welcome.
Maureen, thanks for asking. I saw that in the chat, so I'm glad that you got that answered. Fantastic, Kat. Thank you so much. I wrote down all your points, but the main thing that I wrote was way back from the beginning about what is the story you're telling yourself about what you think you can't have. And that's just such a great like wrap up of like, like Maureen was asking, like, why can't I change that? Well, because you're telling yourself some story about why you can't change that. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so good. So good. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. Big cheers for Kat. Lots of hearts and cheers and all the things. Yay. Okay.
You.
And don't forget, you're going to have a chance to join Kat's breakout room or Katerina's breakout room because Katerina is our next and final speaker of the day. Yay. Bing, bing. Katerina Rando. Let me look around the screen here. Yeah, everyone, I think, well, maybe not Mie. I don't know if she's met you yet, but everyone else knows you very well, my friend. Katerina Rando is a women's mentor extraordinaire. She's going to help all of us with our sales and our speaking and our business strategy and scaling and events and retreats and all of the great things. We've been working together. I think, what did you post yesterday? We're on our 8th year. So it's been 7 years since we've known each other. And, honestly, Gather Community and most of what I do now has been patently transformed because of my relationship with Katerina. I can't say enough about that. Yeah, you can say, wow. It was a good way of putting it today, wasn't it? It just came out patently transformed. Katerina is going to be talking today about bold leadership moves for more clients, more revenue, and more bliss in your business. Katerina, my friend, the floor is yours. Please take it away. And you're muted.
Bing, bing, bing. Let's take a deep breath, my friends. Let's take one more. You probably started your business because you wanted more freedom. You wanted to have more impact. Maybe you wanted to bliss more in your life. Yes, my friends? Or put in the chat, why did you start your business? Maybe you wanted to be more of service around something that you're super passionate about. But then you start your business and the impact gets sidebarred for the marketing to-dos. And the revenue gets askew with the admin and compliance. And the bliss gets put away because of the challenges du jour. Have you had days like that, my friends? Sometimes it's not challenge du jour. Sometimes it's challenge du jour. And in our time together today, what I want to tell you is that in order to have more bliss, more impact, more time freedom in your business, more financial freedom as a result of your business, what is required is more bold leadership. And I'm going to share with you right now, in our brief time together, I am going to share with you a few, we'll see how far we get, of my guiding bold leadership principles in order for you to bliss more in your business. Does that sound good? Yay, bing, bing, bing. Here's the first one. I want you to make sure that you have a bold vision that inspires you every day. A bold vision. Some of you, I know Tracy was there, 2 years ago, were on a ship with me, cruise ship, because y'all know I do lots of retreats on cruise ships. And we're on a cruise ship. And it was a retreat on how to do retreats. We just did another one of those. Some of you were with me for that one that we just did 5 minutes ago. Well, this one was a couple of years ago, and we're on the ship. And I said to the gals, hey, come to my suite. I like to get a suite. Don't do it all the time, but like to get a suite because it has more room so that we can all hang out and we can mastermind. And then we're going to go to dinner after 90 minutes. Well, what happened was not a 90-minute mastermind session, was not a 2-hour mastermind session or a 3-hour mastermind session. We had a 7.5-hour mastermind session. Never, ever experienced anything like it before. You know why? The ladies were blissing, sharing ideas, sharing resources, asking each other's opinions, just getting to know each other. And after that day, I created a bold vision in my business. And that bold vision was to take that best part of the whole retreat and make it its own whole retreat, which is why we created something, or I guess I created something called the Amp Up Adventure, which is our mastermind cruise for women in business on a mission. And last year, that bold vision came to life. And I remember standing in the dining room where we were doing some masterminding, standing there looking at all the round tables with all the gals, blah, blah, blahing with each other and blissing. And that was the bold vision that was a result of an idea. And this year we're doing it again. We're going to Alaska this time on our Amp Up Alaska adventure. Some of you are coming. Some of you are sponsoring. Thank you, my friends. And that event, I made an even bigger vision. We're going to have more gals than last time. And I made myself a little picture with all the round tables, with all the smiley faces of all the ladies. And that vision has me jump up every day. and be blissing to get in action. And next year, some of you know, I'm going to take a group to Italy for a retreat. And that vision of seeing myself with the ladies sitting in the piazza, sipping espresso with the Italian chatter all around us, that makes me bliss. And I'm going to ask you right now, do you have a bold, compelling vision for your business that is fueling you to be in massive action every day? And if not, I want to invite you. That is your first bold leadership principle. And you can also, you know what is so exciting? This is, I didn't get to do this before. You can now create with ChatGPT, you can create that compelling vision. I'm going to tell Charlie, Charlie's my ChatGPT. I'm going to say, Charlie, create me a picture of me and 6 amazing women sitting in the piazza, sipping espresso, chatting and blissing. I'm going to do that later today. I'm going to see what Charlie comes up with. Create your compelling vision, and that compelling vision will be the result of your bold desire for what you want in your business. And that will be the fuel to keep your party moving. Now, that's number 1. Number 2, bold leadership principle. My friends, for some of you, this is the one. Be decisive. Be decisive about your pricing. Be decisive about your offering. Be decisive about who gets the privilege to be your client. Have a client criteria that makes you bliss. Now, I'm going to give you a very important big hint right now. The biggest client criteria that will make you bliss is for you to say, I want clients with the same values as me. My clients are positive. They are community minded. They are generous. They are women on a mission. They operate with integrity, just like me. And when you say out loud and you write down, this is who I want to spend my time with. This is who I want to serve. Do you know what happens? Those gals will begin to show up. And not only that, the gals that don't match your criteria, they will not be in your space much. Occasionally they'll show up and you give them some love, but you don't invite them to be in your community. And let me tell you why. Because I want to strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to consciously curate your community. Because when someone is in your community, they're not just your client. They are interacting with all of your other VIP clients. And we don't want gals that we feel are not what we would like, meaning their values. I remember once, I'll tell you this, give you the skinny. Many years ago, I had this gal come into our community. Lovely gal, ambitious gal, successful gal. And she hired 4 of the gals in my community. One for graphics, one for events, a couple other things for a couple other things. And guess what? She didn't pay anybody. She did not pay anybody. Oh my gosh, I was so distressed. I tried so hard to get her to pay everybody. But you know what I did after this debacle? Wrote her a big check and sent her on her way. Cost me lots of pretty pennies. But you know what? here's a guiding principle my dad taught me and my mom. If you can throw money at a problem and make it go away, you can get rid of your problem. Now, you might say to me, Katerina, that's fine if you got money and you may not feel that you have some. Well, let me tell you something. You want to bliss in your business? You want to be a bold leader in your business? Financial surplus supports that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Here's my point. Be decisive about who gets to come and hang out with you. Create that criteria. Upgrade that criteria. Because when you are a woman on a mission and you find women that are aligned with you and you get to support them and they get to support each other, you are going to be blissing and your clients are going to be blissing. And you know what happens when we have blissing clients? Two important things. One, they start to have their own massive impact. They start to create their own communities if they want to. In my case, I've seen they start to do their own retreats. They start to have their own clients that are having massive impact as a result of working with them. That is phenomenal. And you know what else happens when you consciously curate your community? They become friends. They become collaborators. They are uplifting and enriching each other's lives because they're all aligned and they all match. Now, they might, it's very interesting. They look different on the outside. They have different businesses. They run different lives. Some are married, some are single, ethnic diversity, everything. But when values are aligned, women thrive with the other women with the values aligned. Are you vibing with me on this? And so I'm inviting you to be decisive, to consciously curate, to make a decision about who gets to be served by you and gets to connect with your other gals. So many more things to say about decisive, but I'm going to keep my party moving. Now, I do want to say actually one thing. So some of you know I have a center in San Francisco. I was there last night speaking for a lovely group of business women. I've had my center since about a year before the pandemic. And you've probably heard me say, if we've ever been in the same room, that successful women make decisions quickly. That's being decisive. I had been looking for a place for my center for 5 years. I got sick of giving all my hard-earned money to the hotels and feeling unappreciated. And, in fact, the opposite, not only unappreciated, but they weren't in love with me because my gals were mostly local, so they didn't buy sleeping rooms, just a few. And they always want to sell their sleeping rooms, especially by the airport where I used to host all my events. So I said to myself one day, enough with these hotels. I'm going to get my own place. 5 years I'm looking. I go look all over. I look at buildings. I say, no, this is not my place. Well, at the time I owned a building with my mom. There was a hair salon on the top and a cafe on the bottom. And my mom calls me one day and she says, Alex is leaving. He's the guy who owned the hair salon. And she said, why don't you put your center in the hair salon? I thought to myself, well, maybe, but there's only one bathroom and there's not a lot of parking. And I said, can you give me 24 hours? You know what my mom said to me? She said to me, no. She said, you got to decide right now. Now, my friends, this is one of my biggest business decisions. I had to insta make it. And guess what I did? And then I realized, I forgot at the moment, there's a huge parking lot, block and a half up. Huge. Free. In a moment, sometimes the decisions you make will support you. Do not feel that you have to ruminate and research and ponder and talk to 10 people before you move forward. Successful women make decisions quickly. Bing, bang. Take a deep breath, my friends. Ask yourself right now, what decision have you been going on and on and on about? It's time to make a decision and go. Because part of time, you know why you're not making the decision? Because you're not trusting yourself. Maybe you want to maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to do a retreat. Maybe you want to start a new program. But you're getting ready to get ready because you're not really sure you could do it. But when you make the decision, now it starts for you to be figuring it out. Getting it? Next bold leadership guiding principle. Run your business for where you're going, not where you are. Run your business for where you're going. Now, my friends, I've been serving women entrepreneurs for 30 years, 30 plus years. Makes me bliss. And before any of you knew me, I was more of what I call a runaround speaker. Run to the East Coast and give a speech on coaching skills for managers. Go somewhere else and teach foster parents about powerful communication. I was a runaround speaker. But I didn't want to be. When I got married, this is actually 20 years ago. When I got married, I decided I didn't want to run all over the country. I wanted to stay in my hometown, but I still wanted to do my thing. So I said to myself, well, you know what? I want to be the kind of speaker that people come and they fly in to be with me. Now, what does that mean? That means I was going to do my own events at produce my own events rather than getting paid to speak for other people. And I remember the day that I pulled out of the hotel parking lot. And a few people had flown in. We had a full room. Guess what, my friends? I did not even make an offer. It wasn't about making an offer. It was about doing the thing that I wanted to do to prove to myself that I could do it. And pulling out of that driveway of the parking lot, I never felt prouder of myself, and I never blissed more in having done something to move my life and my business in the right direction. And today, not only do gals fly in from all over to come to my speaker retreats, to come on cruise retreats with me, I'm blissing because of that bold leadership move I took so long ago. And the other thing is, the more you do bold action, the more you're going to take more bold action, and the more you're going to be blissing. Are you vibing with me, my friends? Okay, take a deep breath. Oh. So what have we talked about so far? Having a compelling, bold vision. Being decisive and looking at how you can be even more decisive. Make decisions more quickly. And by the way, one of the things that supports decisiveness is having criterias. Look at where in your business you don't have criterias that you can bring one in. So for example, Your client criteria, we've talked about that. Your vendor criteria. Who has the privilege of you being their client? And I'm going to say a lot of it again is about the values. They could be a totally different type of person. If they have the same values, you're going to be aligned. Criteria for your vendors. Criteria for your charitable giving. Those of you, some of you were with me at our Fempire Fest event that we did a couple weekends ago. Part of that event was a fundraiser for Deaf Women Empowerment Organization for Women in Nepal. Teaches them how to start their own enterprises. We support girls women in Zambia with their own business. My charitable giving criteria is for girls and women education and entrepreneurship and what we'll call a personal empowerment through financial success for women around the world. That's my criteria. Now, is there a lifetime supply of important causes? Yes, there's a need everywhere. Trafficking, breast cancer. Yes, the list is a mile long, right? We can't give to every Mary Jane and Sheila who asks for some support. We have to decide what am I going to put my attention on? And you can choose to expand that and add more. Create a criteria to get started. Create a criteria for who gets to be on your team. Create a criteria for what you need from the people on your team. The more you can create criteria, the better. I'm going to tell you another little thing that I've done. On my calendar, now, this is like my time criteria. After every speech, after every networking event, after every class I'm teaching, I have at least a half an hour, if not an hour, of nothing on the calendar. That's a time for break. And before that is a time for prep. So I'm not doing what I used to do, which was go from class at 10 to 11, class at 11 to 12, class at 12 to 1. No, now I have time in there after for my to-dos, for my preparation. And that is an SOP now, standard operating procedure. What are those things that you find really work for you and make them universal through your whole business? And I'm going to put that under bold too. And I've got one more bold leadership principle for you. Ready for it, my friends? Recognize selling is service. Selling is service. Now I'm going to tell you the one thing that I wish I had $1 for every time I've heard it. I would be a billionaire. I don't want to be salesy. I've heard it 100,000 million times. I don't want to be salesy. Sweetheart, I don't want to be salesy either. Here's the thing. If we can't sell, we can't serve. Now, I'm going to tell you, I teach sales. You all know that, right? I have a sales class starting on Monday. Some of you have been in my sales class several times. Here's my sales conversations. Hey, my friend, what's new and exciting? If I don't know them, hey, my friend, tell me about you. Tell me about what you're up to. Tell me about what you want to be up to. Listen, 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 listen. At some point, ask more questions. And then at some point, ask a question. Hey, sounds like you're a great match for our sales program that starts on Monday. Would you like to hear about it? Always ask before you tell. Now, if somebody just told you to tell them about what you've got, are you being salesy? No, my friends. Very simple. And when you wear your cape, which is your certainty, your authenticity, your positivity, and your enthusiasm while you're telling them, that is going to have whatever you've got be more alluring to them. And here's my other big guiding principle for selling. The more gals you talk to, the more clients you get. It's not rocket science. Selling is all about relationships. It's all about talking to people that you feel are a great match, asking them if they want to hear about it. Don't do what a lot of gals are doing. They're hiding behind their social media, waiting for people to say, I really want to talk to you about your XYZ. If you are waiting for that, my friend, I am sorry for you. Because I can tell you, having had hundreds of clients, having filled over 300 group programs, having filled over 50 retreats. If I held up my hand with 5 fingers, that's probably how many times somebody has said, I am super interested in signing up for what you've got, or something like that. It's all about beginning the conversation. So my friend, I want you right now, take a deep breath, to recognize that the more you connect with gals that are a great match for you, the more you get to know them, the more you invite them to talk to you, the more gals will become your client. Now, if you're super savvy, you're going to build some influence first, not just with your social media, do that, but with your speaking. Because speaking allows you to build Insta influence. Okay, my friends, we've talked about your compelling vision. We've talked about your decisiveness. We've talked about run your business for where you're going. We've talked about recognize that selling is service. And I want to ask you, which one of these bold leadership guiding principles do you want to embrace right now that you know would support you on your path to not only bliss more in your business, but to actually grow and scale and serve more with your business? And send me some love and put in the chat, which one of those bold leadership principles do you feel is the best match for you today? And I'm happy to chat with you all more in the breakout session about all of your bold leadership action. And please, don't just say, okay, Katerina, that was really nice, and some ideas. I really want you to pick one. We just did quarterly planning a couple days ago with my clients. Pick, and that's all about getting ready for the next quarter. Take this next quarter to amplify your attention on this bold leadership principle so that you can bliss more in your business. My friends, I want to invite you to join me for my next free workshop coming up. I will put it in the chat. It's on scaling. I invite you to talk to me about not only your bold leadership, but your speaking, your selling. I invite you to join us for our Amp Up Adventure Mastermind Cruise in August. Put in the chat. And if you want to talk to me about anything, most importantly, take more bold action so that you can bliss more in your business and uplift more lives. Bing, bing, bing. Thank you, Tracy. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Great, like super powerful today. I love so much emphasis on all of your points. Thank you so much. You guys, she offered lots of things, and one of the things that we have to offer is the breakout rooms, which is what we're going to do next. So Katerina's got a breakout room, Kat's got a breakout room. And what I am excited about also is the things that they both have for their freebies in our resource page. Paula just put the link in the chat. Thank you very much. Don't forget to grab the things that they are offering, right? Free resources from these brilliant women, whether it's Kat and Katerina from this afternoon, or our speakers from this morning, or the ladies that are still to come tomorrow, or anyone else in our community. This community is about support and uplift and connection and value. And I know that no matter where your bold decisions take you, it's going to be in the right place. So it's time for breakouts. Paula, are we set? All right, we're going to go ahead and have a breakout for Kat and a breakout for Katerina. You have to be specific, Kat or Katerina, the full name or the short name, when you said, tell us where you want to go. And let's open up the rooms, 10 minutes, and we'll be back afterwards to close up. Where would you like to go, ladies? You can click on the buttons, or you can tell us where you'd like to go, and we will happily put you there.
Can you put me in Katerina's room,
You
Teresa?
bet, my friend.
I'll go with Kat.
Was that you, Teresa? Yeah,
Yes.
great. Erica, where'd you like to go, my friend? How about you, Tanya?
Kat.
You got it. Mia, where'd you like to go?
Katerina.
You got it.
Funny, I didn't think about the cat and cat thing until you
Okay,
said
I'll
it.
do, that's what I'm going to plan on afterwards. Yes, thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope that was great. How was the breakouts? Was
Amazing.
this good? Good convos. We're getting things going. We're making things happening. We're taking bold leadership of our life and our business and our future. Yes. Okay. We've got one last thing to do, which is to spin the wheel for one last prize. But before we do that, I want to reiterate one last time for today, that is, the speaker resource page. Grab all those freebies. Get the things that are going to help you, support you, the tools, the guidance that will help you move forward and make those bold decisions for your own personal bold leadership. Let's make sure you do your the interest form, or whatever we call that, connect form. We've gotten one. Hard to pair up a person with one form.
Yeah.
I know Nikki is the only one. She's like, I have no friends and no one to pair up with. So feel free to fill out the form. You know what? And you don't have to like click all the things. Like, I know I say click all the things, and it would be great if you did, but you don't have to. But if you'd like to connect with another fabulous woman, be sure to click that one. Of course, it will also help you with the upcoming events as well. Alexa, what can I do for you?
Tracy, I know
Yes, darling.
that it either was one of the messages that you automatically send out when people join the Gather community, but I signed up for that program in that email from a couple days ago.
Okay.
So will that go into the same pool of humans to be connected with a random person?
We have to connect with a random person in our, that would have been from the Biz Connect.
Oh, it's
So
not the same thing.
No. So the Biz Connect email pair ups have not been sent out yet. We got a little bit behind.
Give me an
this week.
hour.
So, yeah, those are scheduled to happen today. So yeah, this will be a new pair up. So because we
Got
look
it.
at the stamps of when they were submitted. So the ones from the Biz Connect that happened a couple of Fridays ago, or last Friday, or whatever day that was, will still happen. And then any pair ups from today would just be from today.
Oh, okay. So you do it based on the event itself. You don't do it based on like the whole Gather community.
Correct.
Okay, I thought it was just a program in the Gather community.
No, it's event specific.
Connect to the
Yeah,
random
great
people.
great
Okay, got it.
question. Thank you for the
That's
clarification.
helpful.
Yeah. Nikki, what can I do for you?
Oh, I was just gonna make the comment that like I did mine because I didn't overthink it for once, and I just like, okay, imperfect action, check some things off, send it off. If I want to fix it
Excellent.
later, I can fix it later. Just
I
just do
love
the
it.
thing real
That-
quick, check it, done.
That's great. And it looks like Kat is calling you out for a connect anyway. So whether anyone else fills out their form and you're the only one, no matter what, you're going to have a connect with Kat. So you guys set that up.
Well, and I think Nikki and I were paired last time, and the connect just hasn't happened yet.
Oh, it never happened. Okay. Well, and you know what? We do have a lot of events here in the Gather community, and I do want lots of you to have the opportunity to connect. So, yeah, there's a lot to schedule, isn't there? Our calendars are and our lives are full. Okay.
To put on the
So,
dashboard.
Connect
so that
form, you got all
people-
that stuff. The Alexa, your hand's still up, and I don't know how to turn it off, so I'm just gonna tell you. Okay, last thing is we're still here tomorrow from 9 o'clock tomorrow, probably till more like 12:30. 4 speakers tomorrow. I do want to thank all of our speakers today. I want to thank our creators, Katerina and Kat and Teresa and Lisa. And I want to especially thank Elle as a guest speaker for joining us today. I really loved having you here again. And let's pull up the wheel for our final prize. Our prize provider today is the fabulous Elle Ballard. Elle, tell the winner what they're gonna get.
I'm gonna share a gift card to Amazon.
Oh,
And
great.
there's plenty of things to get, as
Oh,
we all
yeah.
know. So there will be a digital card.
Yeah, a digital gift card. That's great. And maybe it's for Teresa's book, or maybe if you already grabbed
Yes,
Teresa's book,
exactly.
it's something else, right? Some sort of personal swag that you've been wanting to grab that you want permission to get. Elle's gonna give it to you. That's great. All right, let's pull up this wheel and see who our big winner is. Here it comes. And we spin, spin, spin. And of course, must be present to win. So your odds are good, ladies. We've got 13 people here. It's Marissa Cruz Hernandez. Wait, is she still here? She dropped.
She was just here. I just saw her. Oh no.
Wah, wah. Remove and respin. Oops, we didn't remove her. Hopefully it won't hit land on her again. That's too bad. She had to go. Oh, that's so funny. Remove. There you go. All right, one last time. I don't know if that sound comes over on the microphone. Excellent. All right, Brooke, you got the prize.
Thank
and
you.
I have your email, so I will get that to Elle, and you will
Awesome.
get your prize in your email.
Thank you. How did I
Yes, you're
know that was going to
welcome.
happen?
It's magical. Well, you know what? You manifested it, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, everyone. Thank you again for being here today. I really appreciate you. There's Marissa coming back. What a shame. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and go. It's 9 minutes to 1. I'm glad we wrapped up before the end of the hour, and we will see you again super soon, and hopefully tomorrow at 9 a.m. for day 2 of the Bold Leadership Summit.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Tracy.
everyone. Mwah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh,